Greetings, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. For those of you that are new here, I am a professional intuitive empath. We're going to jump right into it. Drake's house was just shot up. Okay. I want to thank you for clicking, inviting me into your energy and homes. I'm going to be doing a breakdown on the rap beef that happened. I was so glued to the rap beef that I couldn't even break it down. God bless all the reactors that did all the things, but it was fascinating for me. I'm going to break it down from an astrological perspective as to why this is going the way it is, why the tides have turned, quote unquote, against Drake, why Kendrick did such a surgical takedown, what the animus was, what the motivation was, and what the astrological motivation was. So stay tuned for that. I'll be on camera for that. But what I need you to know is this. Right now, Drake's house was just shot up. And I might title this The Boy Who Cried Wolf. The issue with this is already, and it just happened in the last several hours, there is such a strong opinion. Kendrick Lamar, who was a Gemini, did such an incredible job at dismantling all of the facets of Drake, who is a Scorpio, the actor, and differentiating him from the actor and culture vulture and colonizer, quote unquote, as one of the lyrics in Kendrick. When I say it's like a surgical, I'm thinking of Eminem Miracle Lyrical. It was a surgical dismantling. Talk about a verbal assassin. You do not want to go to war with Gemini, ever, or anybody that has high Gemini placements in their chart, because it's one of my favorite quotes. It's a song from James Brown, and he put it in the rap beef, and he said, "Don't tell any lies about me, and I won't tell the truth about you." The issue is that whatever Drake tries to stick against the wall about Kendrick is immediately lost, and Kendrick stepped on his release, and there's so many things I will talk about. If you've been following this beef, you know exactly what I'm saying. Stepped on one of his releases in such a brilliant way with a follow-up that had none of us thinking about what Drake just said about Kendrick, which he revealed allegations about Kendrick and DV, and Kendrick's allegations about Drake were SA, and other words that we can't even say here on the YouTube streets. Kendrick also just did a people's champ move of removing the copyright from all of the videos so that everyone that was eating over the weekend, when I say eating, on YouTube we have revenue, you make money from your videos, and so when you get a copyright strike from music that plays, which happens immediately, I've even had it play for like a Disney song when I was on a train on the Polar Express or something, okay? When you get copyright infringement, it removes your ability to make money, so you can't monetize your video. Kendrick, in like an ultimate move of like cachet and showing that he is of the people and for the people, he did what Drake doesn't do. Drake usually copyright strikes and sends out cease and desist. Kendrick removed the copyright strikes so that everybody could make money. So everyone that made millions of dollars this week, or thousands of dollars this week, or got new viewers this week, everyone is going to eat from this rap beef, because Kendrick said, "I feed the people, you steal from the people." It's such a chess move that I don't even think Drake understands, because Drake is very myopic and focused and quite selfish. Can you tell that I'm biased? I love Drake. I was just at a Drake concert last year. I love Drake and what he brings, but very much in the realm that Kendrick says. You make great pop music, you make great dance music, make great club music, you make great records to kind of reflect on. I love some of the energy with his scorpionic wisdom. However, his scorpionic wisdom failed him. He's dubbed as the petty king, and I think he was outpettied by a very mercurial, which rules the planet of Gemini, energy of Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick is just smarter. He's just smarter. And what he exposes at Drake is an actor, which brings me back to what I just said at the beginning. Yes, I will do a deep dive. As you can hear, I have a lot of energy and theses, because as I was watching this, I was mind blown at how precise and intelligent the genius of Kendrick. Everything he did was brilliant. It doesn't mean that everything he does is brilliant, but Kendrick is brilliant. He's literally won a Pulitzer Prize. He is innovative, and he is provocative, and he is thoughtful, and he is detailed, and I have always loved it. One of my favorite lines from him is, "Stop playing with me before I turn you to a song." And Drizzy got the Kendrick treatment from Drake, because he is now forever immortalized. And They're Not Like Us It's so catchy, it's so good, and it's filled with these just lancing, blood drawing bars at every single turn that will forever stick. It doesn't matter what Drake says. Drizzy out masterclass Drake on how to make a pop record. Everybody said Kendrick couldn't. He did. And he did it with the blood of his enemy, quote unquote. The issue is, what we don't want to see happen is the escalation of the blood of his enemy actually spilling in the streets. And I immediately, when I saw this, I thought, oh shit, here we go. Because if you were alive, we all have been saying over this weekend, as reactors, as people watching, as people that are in love with the culture and hip hop, what a time to be alive, because the rate and the response rate that we got these tracks and stuff back to back, quite literally, Kendrick played on that. Years ago, Drake had a beef with Meek Mill, and he said back to back, and it was like a club banger, and everybody was dancing on Meek's quote unquote grave, essentially, because Meek accused him of ghostwriting at that time. And Kendrick said in one of his initial diss tracks to Drake, back to back, I like that record, for the record. We'll get back to that, for the record. And he literally took a play out of Drake's book, Ultimate Chess, y'all. He was playing cosmic chess. And he literally did what Drake did, but better, and in a more damaging way, because this wasn't about ghostwriters. This was about stuff that sends people to prison for the rest of their lives. This is very serious allegations, and they are allegations. To this point, I mean, there are some things that can prove. We have seen Drake kiss a 17-year-old on stage and then like war with himself about how much he wanted to go back for more. So there are things that we've seen in front of our face. And to Drake's defense of this was, oh, if I'm too rich to be a PDF file, I'm too rich to be an SAer. And we all have like the wide eye emoji, like, what? Have you heard of Epstein? Have you heard of Cosby? Have you heard of Weinstein? Have you heard of any of these dudes that have all been taken down? Woody Allen, Roman Polanski, that were wildly pedophile. Ooh, I can't say that word here. That were wildly PDF filed and wildly essayers. And you think that money exempts you from being part of that? Now, here's the thing. It's all allegations, right? Again, I was at a Drake concert because, like Kendrick, who says he's a fan of Drake's music, when he likes Drake when he sings and when he makes great music, but not like when he's acting tough. That brings us to what's happened today. Drake's house was shot up, and immediately I thought this is a reverse chess move from Drake, because he's up against the ropes right now, and what he wants to evoke, unfortunately, I think, is the energy of Biggie and Pac from yesteryear. He's trying to frame himself as Biggie, making Kendrick Pac, okay? Because remember, if you paid attention to the battle, Drake used an AI voice of Tupac sunning, meaning speaking down to Kendrick, as one of his rap rebuttals. He used AI Tupac and AI Snoop. Now, here's the deal with that. It was a great offense to the West Coast, because, you know, people love Tupac. And literally, Kendrick is in the cachet and in the music groupings with people that were affiliated and worked and walked the streets with Tupac. So he definitely has that on his shoulders, and he felt a way. He talks about it in his raps. He was like, all eyes on me, and I'm gonna send it up to Pac. So this is all getting very messy, and Drake is smart too, but Drake is an actor, and what Kendrick exposed in all of his raps is how Drake has literally siphoned energy from so many people in their different flows and styles, and it was reciprocal and mutually beneficial. If it, you know, it was a symbiotic relationship, to say the least, meaning those rappers got the megastar push that Drake provides, because if you are on a Drake album, everyone knows you. It's global, it's worldwide. Drake says as much. I'm really big in Japan because I'm big in Japan. Y'all can't get booked outside of the country for Nan. I'm big in Japan because I'm big in Japan. That's one of the quotes from the very beginning of this beef. It feels like 17 years ago, and it really was just a few days ago. It's crazy how much has happened in the last few days with this alleged shooting. Or, well, it's not alleged shooting. The shooting is real, but with the shooting, we don't know the details. Now, also, there is another beef that's going on in Canada right now. Come on, Canadians, with the beef, where Party Next Door and other people they are like fighting. The girls are fighting. There's other stuff happening. Somebody else's house was shot up like a week ago. So what I think is happening is that Drake would love, I don't know if this is just a crazy fan. It's a theory. It could be. We don't know the full details yet. what it felt to me and what's happening in the comments, because this is what I may be titling this, The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Even if this is real, no one believes Drake, because what Kendrick did was such a surgical, a visceral takedown of Drake that no one believes that he didn't set this up, because Kendrick literally raps, "You're a master manipulator." And Meet the Grams, he writes letters to each member of Drake's family, and he addresses his father and his mother, and he says, "You raised a terrible person. He's a master manipulator, a sociopath." Like, he says these words. These are words we've never heard in rap, in battle rap ever, and that's why this is so epic, because it was not just, "I don't like you," and I'm rapping and throwing whatever sticks against the wall. It was like he was giving Drake free therapy. He suggested in one of the songs, "I suggest some ayahuasca, strip the bottom out, the ego, so that you can actually heal and deal with what we know you have to heal from." It was mind-blowing, guys, how Kendrick literally filleted this man's psyche and was like, "Hey, you got this problem and that problem and that problem. Now here's the thing, there before the grace of God go any of us. We all have vices, we all have freaky shit, we all do things that's weird, we all do things that other people might raise an eyebrow at. Every one of us is fallible." But what Kendrick did was say, "Yes, I have things in my skeletons in my closet for sure, and you might have found a couple, Drake, but I don't have a house, a mansion full of shenanigans and skeletons." And if you saw the picture, which now they're going to say that Kendrick identified him, Drake's house was on Google Maps before this happened. Kanye dropped Drake's address a year or two ago when they were beefing. Like, Drake's house is a very well-known spot. He talks about the embassy, that's what it's called. The issue that the fans are having, the issue that the public court of opinion is now dealing with, is that they think that Drake might have set himself up, or that this is some crazed fan. But no one believes that Kendrick sent this, because it's just not the character of Kendrick. He's been in the rap game for this long. Now, this beef got hot, and it was fiery, and it's intense, and it's still escalating. And he's accused him of things that could be life-ending and career-ending. When I say life-ending, not physically his life, but career-ending for sure. Literally, we see Cosby in jail, we see YC in jail, we see these powerful men that had a lot of money that fell because of accusations of their deviant behavior when it was once proven by a court of law. The issue here with the shooting that's happened at Drake's house is no one believes what they have seen or saw. No one believes what they saw, because Kendrick did such a brilliant unraveling of Drake's whole personality, and that there is no truth in him. And then Drake, his rebuttal in the last one was, he was down bad. It was very sad. He was definitely on defense. He was definitely, or on offense. He was, I don't know, he was on something, girl. He was against the ropes. He was rope-a-doped. And he was like, "You can't make these allegations stick," or like, "Relax." He sounded tired. If you listen to the track, he sounded exhausted. And that's when the fun left for me. I was like, oh my God, this man, I didn't feel sorry for him, meaning Drake has been able to bully people quietly. That's the energy of Scorpionic energy. Stay tuned for the major video. Scorpionic energy is insidiously manipulative when it's in a low vibration. In a high vibration, it is altering and life-changing and powerful. I recently dealt with someone who had a lot of Scorpionic energy personally, and I got to watch how manipulative it can be with justifications. They believe the lie. They believe whatever they're saying about themselves, and they believe it's all justified. I literally watched a person justify manipulation. When we were watching like a twin flame, the twin flame university thing that just came out, and we were with a group I was with some friends, and that person was there, and she was justifying like manipulative behavior that was happening in that thing to a certain degree. It's hard to explain. I don't want to like misread it, but specifically, it was like I never understood more what Scorpionic energy would do. And she didn't feel like there was anything wrong with it, obviously, and that's how she lived her life. But I remember seeing that, and I was like, oh, this was a lesson for me about Scorpionic energy when it's not in a good vibe, when it's in a lower vibration. What I mean by that very specifically is that Scorpionic energy in a low vibration will be manipulative and literally thinking out a thing about it. It's like breathing for them. Okay, they operate out of the energy around Scorpio is other people's power, other people's money, obsession, and invasion. energetically, and it's low vibration. It deals with the occult, all of that. So scorpionic energy, if you ever dated a Scorpio, it's why Scorpios have the reputation they do. Drake is a Scorpio, and it's what's made him really good at what he does. But what Kendrick did was he showed, like, this is an actor and he's playing a role. God forbid that Drake's house, anybody, I think someone was injured, so we pray for them. But I'm telling you, what the fans already theorize means that Kendrick did his job, which is that nothing Drake does or says or anything that happens to him is to be believed. People already think that he's done this to himself to turn the tides of public opinion, because the way that Kendrick just wrote out on him and sunned him in this rap battle was literally one for the books. It will go down in history, just like Biggie and Pac, but we're hoping not just like Biggie and Pac. I don't believe that. It's funny, all these reactors had to be really careful with their mouths. They were saying, "Oh, Drake, you gotta shoot him in the fade. You gotta quote unquote pew pew him." Like, people were saying this. I just watched Kai Cenat just last night or the other day be like, oh, you gotta do this. And now his house has been shot up. Drake is so smart and calculated, though, that we don't know. Did Drake do this to himself, or was this done to Drake, or was it some crazy fan? All of these things are very possible. But the issue is whether he was very, accurately and purposely and directly attacked. No one believes him anymore. One of the closest, we don't believe you need more people. That's from another rap battle. But I think that's from 8 Mile even. But the thing about it is Kendrick just laid out such an incredible case against Drake. It was literally like the people versus Drake. That's what this has been, okay? And that might be what I titled the next video, the people versus Drake. He was fighting with Metro Boomin. He was fighting with Future. He was fighting with Rick Ross. He was fighting with A$AP Rocky. The thing about it is A$AP Rocky, Rihanna's Booski husband and baby daddy. The thing about it is Drake has been sending silent and non-direct subliminals in a lot of his songs, even in his last album, all of that. He eviscerates Serena. Kendrick speaks to it. You will not speak on Serena. Drake has been, if Kendrick is dubbed the boogeyman of rap, okay? And if Drake but Drake has been the bully of rap. He's been able, because of his cachet, his clout, and his popularity, to just absolutely bomb on people, from Meg Thee Stallion to Ice Spice to everybody. He's been able to, all these women rappers and everybody in between. And Kendrick just points out his hypocrisy. He literally says in one of his songs, you effed on Wayne's girl when he was in jail. That's conniving. And then got a tattoo of his face on your body apologizing like a bee. The way that Kendrick showed us Drake, and all this stuff is true. There's an interview with Weezy saying, "Oh yeah, Drake slept with my girl when I was in jail." Man, it's like, you could see him trying to manage it through the interview, but his feelings felt away, even though they all have access to all the women they want, allegedly in their life, consensually, we hope. But the point of that is that Kendrick said it. Don't tell any lies about me, and I won't tell the truth about you. And now, because Kendrick was so rooted in the truth, and we know him to be a speaker of truth and a speaker of the people and causes. And Drake even raps that. He's like, people think that you were like some freedom fighter and that you freed the slaves or something. And then Kendrick doubled down and turned it back on him and said, you were talking about freeing the slaves because you thought that was a funny line, but you were down in Atlanta colonizing from 21 Savage, from Future, from all of these people, from Quavo. You were stealing the sauce. If you're an empath here watching, you have had someone siphon energy from you and use it to pump up their life, and they get a really big head because they feel like they're doing it, but it's their proximity to you that has caused their life to be really juicy and magical for a special moment in time while they're connected to you. Drake, again, it is symbiotic, because if you're connected to Drake, you win more views. It's more money in your pocket. However, it was transactional. Drake was getting something too. He was getting the sauce, the swag, the ragu that he did, the swagoo, if you will. Cringe, right? He was getting all of that from these people because he doesn't naturally have it, which was the case that Kendrick laid out. You are without this inherently. You are a mixed kid from Canada, and you did not have this. Even if your dad is black, he wasn't really in your life like that, according to you, even though the dad has come out before and been like, Drake, why did you lie to these people? I was around you all the time. That shit's hilarious too. That's the problem, is that Drake does lie. And what Kendrick says, you're a master manipulator, brings us to the shooting, because we're like, what is there to be believed? I would not put it past a scorpionic energy against the ropes. Think of Diddy, another low vibration Scorpio, that we are understanding the depravity and the depths. Diddy has been accused of blowing up people's car, and people have come out and said, oh yeah, he did blow up Kid Cuddy's car. Kid Cudi was like, yeah, he blew up my car. He blew up my car. Diddy has been accused of alleged S-ing and S-trafficking and all the rest of it. And it sounds like it's all coming out to be factually being proven in so many ways, allegedly, okay? That's still ongoing. However, that's what you get when you're dealing with low vibrational scorpionic energy. And while I don't know if Drake is on the level of Diddy, clearly, and we will not put those allegations against him, that's what Kendrick was trying to get to stick. But the thing about it is like any good Scorpio, worth their salt, high vibrational or low, you will be charming, and you will be alluring to a certain degree. Drake is far more charming to me than Diddy, meaning Diddy, you can always tell there's a veneer of asshole right underneath to me, always. I've never liked Diddy personally. I remember getting into a fight about Jay-Z versus Diddy. It sounds like the same. That's another video for another day coming up, even though I adore the wordsmithery of Jay-Z far more than ever I did Diddy, because I knew Diddy literally colonized and stole, even though he wasn't a colonizer, but he stole and siphoned everyone's energy, didn't pay people. Diddy is like literally renowned for being a grifter and a horrible person in the industry. Far before these allegations come out, no one has really appreciated Diddy's energy, because he stole and took people's deals and money and didn't pay people, and it's wild. In any case, Drake is far more charming, far more alluring. He's cute, he's funny, he's smart, he's witty, he is really good at the internet game. He plays it better than anybody. It reminds me, weird correlation here, but when you understand how the internet works, you can really galvanize a grassroots thing. It reminds me, actually, no correlation here, but of Obama and how he ran his campaign. He understood the internet. He understood like the zeitgeist. He understood popular culture. So part of the reason that he had such a tide swell when he won his initial presidency is because he knew how to play the internet game better than a lot of people. He knew how to mobilize people. He was a community activist and organizer, so he knew how to like be boots on the ground with that. Drake is very much immersed in the culture. It's like when something blows up, Drake's already there. We hear all the accent changes. It's what makes him interesting. But Kendrick says this so brilliantly. He says, just be who you are, dude. You're an actor and you're good at it. And you're good at making music. You're a hit maker. He even compliments him in the therapy session to Meet the Grams. He's like introducing the world allegedly to Drake's daughter, which Drake said that he planted. Y'all, this has been so good. I have wanted so badly to talk about all the things, but it's been like so juicy. I can't wait to break it down. But he alleges his daughter. He's talking to the daughter, and he was like, I'm gonna tell you who your daddy is. He's a hit maker. He's a pop star. He's a multi-millionaire. He's also a deadbeat dad who should never say more life. Meet the Grams. It like arrests you. It stops your heart. He's like a deadbeat dad that should never say more life. Meet the Grams. Like it was so brutal, and it had Drake up against the ropes. That now whatever's going on at his house at the embassy, on the OVO camp, we don't know, but the tide of public opinion was so swayed by the surgical takedown that a Geminian energy did to that scorpionic energy that we can never look at Drake and just believe anything that he says again. And in that way, Kendrick won the beef, because he has absolutely, for the rest of Drake's life, shifted public opinion. And if that's not a beef win, I don't know what is. Stay tuned for the follow-up. I'll break down some of the lyrics. We'll talk about it more. We'll talk about spiritual warfare, Gemini, Scorpios, their strengths, because Drake has strengths here too. The thing about Drake, one of his lines from Money in the Grave with Rick Ross, who is now his mortal enemy. Rick Ross is on line calling him white boy and whatever else, and blasting Kendrick's songs. They're not like us at his pool party. Like, y'all, If you are not into hip hop beef, you missed out on probably, this was like the Super Bowl of hip hop beef. And it was not just a Super Bowl because that happens every year. This was like whatever happened. It was like the Halley's Comet Super Bowl. And Kendrick even rapped it. He was like, I have the circadian rhythm of a star, like or of a comet and a star. He's so brilliant, y'all. I can't even stand it. He was saying, because people complain that Kendrick doesn't drop often enough, so he alludes to it in one of the rap disses to Drake, and he was like, I am Mike. He's like, I'm Raphael. I can heal and give you art. He's talking about he is both Archangel Raphael, who is associated with the color green, heart chakra, and healing, and he is also the patron Raphael. And so then after that, he was like, I have the circadian rhythm of stars. I have goosebumps. He's like, I am a celestial light bringing you information. And when I wake up, he was like, you pay attention, because when we see a comet, even if Halley's Comet only comes once every 76 years, the whole world, everybody wakes up and pays attention because it's something. And he was like, so when I wake up and whenever I drop, people pay attention. It doesn't matter if it takes me 76 years. It was brilliant, y'all. I cannot tell you. It was, if you have to be cerebral, you have to be smart to get it. And Drake's people are very used to being spoon-fed, very lowbrow stuff. Kendrick even made a diss record at the end that was just like really poppy and catchy, because he's like, oh, they'll dance to this. And what they're dancing on is Drake's quote unquote alleged grave. Back to Money in the Grave. Drake says, in Money in the Grave, he says, oh God, is it so good? He was like, bury me now and I only get bigger. Bury me now and I only get bigger, okay? When I die, put my money in the grave. I don't know if it's Money in the Grave or another song, but he says, bury me now and I only get bigger. That is the power of scorpionic energy. They live for being killed. And I don't mean that literally. I mean that scorpionic energy, when you read tarot, is the death card. It is all about death, transformation, and rebirth. So if you are in battle with a Scorpio, the best way to do it is actually the way that Kendrick did it. Now, I will say, Kendrick said some things that may be used against him, because he literally said you should be unalived. He says it in several of his tracks. It's wild. I was like, ooh, why is he? But now Drake said it back to him too. He was like, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, in his reaction where he's at New Ho King, where Kendrick shouted out the Chinese restaurant that's in Canada. Like, y'all, this has been so juicy, so layered. It's been like a telenovela. I can't even tell you. It's been so much. So Drake said that at the end of his song, where he replies back, Family Matters, he was like, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, meaning like kill shot. Like, I just took your life, lyrically speaking. But unfortunately, now it's running out in real gunshots. And it's really something where we don't want to see anybody's bodies leaking. And the thing about it is Drake is calculated. And if you ever worked with, seen, or dated someone who was operating out of that manipulative, lower vibrational scorpionic energy, put nothing past them. They'll lay right to your face. They're pathological. And they will not blink. And they will be telling their people that they're the victim. Y'all, and that's why, unless you've dealt with that, if you have ever dealt with that, or if you are a Scorpio, you want to be honest, and you have been that in your lower states and in your unevolved states, you know exactly what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, Drake, something was shot at your house. Yes, but by who and why? And in that way, that's why Kendrick won, because now people may point back. And what I don't want this to do, ooh, y'all, my empath soul feels a lot of tingling here, because that's like, I feel like blood will be lost over this, because it was so hot. It was so messy. And the allegations are things that are life ending and life crushing on both ends, yeah? But more so on Drake's from Kendrick. And even if Kendrick had nothing to do with this alleged shooting, but Drake thinks, because if Drake himself allegedly did not set this up to offset the tide of public opinion, because Drake is calculated and smart in every way. He even said, I fed you the information about my daughter. I don't have a daughter. You know, I just wanted you to take the bait because you're like, you know, whatever, you're impatient. He raps this back to him. If Drake really did just have some random crazy fan shoot up his house, no one's going to know what that is. And if that gets directed back at Kendrick, and something happens to Kendrick and people really lose their lives, this has gone too far. But that's the thing about scorpionic energy. is when you, here's the thing, if you play with Gemini energy in its highest vibration, of which Kendrick is, and he was operating out of anger, so he was in a low vibration too, they will eviscerate you. They will take, what he did is like a master class in what happens when you deal with a Gemini that's just smarter than you than you ever even realized. Like, that's how Gemini will surprise you. Okay. I grew up with a Gemini mother, and she literally spoke in riddles. Like, the reason I love hip hop and the reason I'm good at my job as an intuitive empath and a psychic is because I had to figure out shit from the time I was a kid. My mother never spoke to me directly when she was saying shit. She was always speaking in riddles. So I know what Gemini energy is. I have a sister that's a Gemini. I've been around a lot of tricky ass Gemini energy, including my mama. And so I know what that is. I even have a Gemini rising, so I know how I can be. I really try to stay in the high vibe with it, but I can go down to hell too if someone tries me. Now, here's the deal. So that's why I'm saying I'm owning it. I'm not saying like we are exempt from duality. Dualistic nature exists in us all. The issue is, we might be witnessing Drake's fall. And he was pushed off that cliff by Kendrick with words. He never touched him. I just hope that this doesn't escalate into a real Canadian West Coast beef, because I can't even. None of us want to see it. None of us want this. And I'm sad, because if this really happened to this man, that's a terrifying and an unfortunate thing. But it means, too, we can't trust it. We don't know what it is, because everything Drake has shown us has been lies and conniving. Like you said, you effed on Wayne's girl. That's conniving. It's true. That's the problem is, he may have told truths about Kendrick. He may have told lies. But what it feels like Kendrick did was peeled back the disguise and showed us so many truths about him that it even has us questioning, where did those bullets come from? Did you set this up so that people get off you, fam? Are you cheesing, fam? A Crodie. He started speaking in the language. Cheesing literally means like, are you pissed? Like, are you having beef? Whatever. And he started at the end of one of his raps, Kendrick. He was like, are you cheesing, fam? And he was like saying to him, like, are you mad? You mad now, friend, homie? You mad now, Crodie? This is wild. And it's playing out before our eyes. Pay attention. There's so many spiritual lessons in this, but one of the big lessons is don't be a liar. That part. Live in your integrity, because there will come a day where you will want somebody. Yeah, I hear my West Indian coming out of me. I'm up in Toronto now. There will come a day, someday, where you will want somebody to believe what you say. And if you have always operated in a liar kind of way, then you will have no one believe what you say. You will be the boy or the girl who cried wolf. So if you want people to trust you, then you have to be trustworthy. But that means, can you trust yourself? And when I'm looking at Drake and his camp, I don't think there's anyone in there that he can trust. And I don't even think he can trust him, because he is so dualistically, multiply split in his personality and energy that we don't know the truth from the lie. And that's why whatever just happened outside of his home can be plausibly denied by the zeitgeist and the collective and the watching fandemonium. The public court of public opinion can be so easily swayed, because Drake has always operated in a lower vibrational scorpionic kind of way. The reason it's been the industry against Drake is because Drake has been willfully, insidiously manipulative and operating out of his low vibrational energy. And what did Cat Williams say? And Kendrick's so brilliant, he even rapped it in his last takedown. He said, Cat Williams said to do this, so I'm gonna tell my truth. The embassy, which is Drake's house, is about to get raided soon. He was warning LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry. He was like, everyone keep your kids away, because he's a PDF filer. You do not want your kids around him. If they're looking at him, they're going to be looking at you. What Kendrick did was spiritual and mental warfare on Drake. He did something that we've never seen done in any rap beef. We may never see it repeated, especially because if this really does escalate, whether this came from whomever's camp, it can't be repeated, because at the end of this, people die, usually, allegedly, hopefully never. But that's what happened. Someone is injured right now. Someone was bleeding today outside of Drake's house. So this is real bloodshed now, and it could only escalate to a further degree, even if Kendrick never sent anybody. But we don't know what's going on. If Drake wants public opinion to sway and have people think that he sent somebody, then this is how he could do it. And now people might feel free to retaliate against Kendrick. And now we have a Biggie and Tupac situation again, you see? And now what we're discovering at the crux of the Biggie and Tupac situation, all these years later, as someone has just recently been arrested for Tupac's murder, is that the person allegedly at the center of it all was Diddy. You see how shit gets real shitty when you're dealing with low vibrational scorpionic energy? He created that West Coast East Coast beef out of greed and money. Allegedly, it's being spoken about and proven as we speak, but that all came from a lower vibrational scorpionic energy. Same. As much as I can appreciate Drake's wordplay, imagery, swag, whatever he's got, he and Diddy are, unfortunately, in my mind, planting the same kind of flag. Maybe not exactly the same, but the same. Drake actually, allegedly, yes. Put something on a 10, do a 10, do a 10 again. It sounds like I'm losing my mind here. Drake rapped about, in one of his songs with 21 Savage, he did a rhyme scheme wordplay on 10, 10, 10, which is XXX extension. And allegedly, that's why I say Diddy and Drake, same, allegedly. No one's going to be watching this video. Nobody knows me. Nobody knows me over here on these internet streets. But allegedly, same. If Diddy has blown up people's card, if we have allegedly seen Diddy orchestrate the quote-unquote alleged hits on people, what I'm telling you is that Drake, if he's your king, is no different, allegedly. He's just been cleaner about getting his hands dirty. But in this age of Aquarius, nobody's hands stay dirty forever. He literally rapped about how he put out a hit on XXX, allegedly. He rapped about it. And I think that in the chamber of Kendrick's replies, because he says, how many do I have in stock? 1, 2, 3 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. He's saying he allegedly has an essential full album dedicated of disses. I had a feeling spiritually and intuitively that inside of that was him calling out Drake for that alleged 10XXX situation. Drake and the XXX connection, which makes Drake very much like Diddy. He's always rapping about putting money on people's heads. He's always rapping about a lot of things. And it's funny because what Kendrick was pointing out was his hypocrisy. You're like a suburban kid from Canada, man. Eh? What are we talking about, Crodie? But he said you have got in your head that you're this character. And that's what I've noticed in my own personal interactions with Scorpios. Y'all comment below is that when they are in low vibrational, they can't tell the truth from the lie themselves. They believe whatever they're saying. They believe it. They justify it. And there's nothing wrong with it in their mind. Here's the thing. There's a purpose for that. But when I go back to the Bury Me Now and I Only Get Bigger, Drake thrives in this kind of, his astrological archetype thrives in this kind of adversity where he's killed and then he gets to regenerate and grow back into whatever he needs to be. He does that better than anybody. He will do it better than Kendrick. Kendrick is great at a wordplay. Kendrick's sign of Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which rules internet communication, public online speaking, all of that stuff. Your word is your wand. That's why Kendrick is a fabulous wordsmith. And that's why with Kendrick's words, he could cause a quote unquote red rum. Okay, y'all spell it backwards. You know what I'm talking about. We on the YouTube streets. He could cause that. And he did. We just watched him red rum Drake with his words. He just ended the court of public opinion of Drake being the nice guy. Forever that will be changed. The issue is where Drake's strength lies is in regenerating when someone tries to bury him. Now here's the deal. As he said, Kendrick's so brilliant, guys. I just can't even wrap my mind around it. He even rapped to Drake. He said, every dog has its day. Now live in your purpose. That is an allude to Drake's last album, For All the Dogs, where he had his son Adonis illustrate the cover art. So he tells Drake, every dog has their day, live in your purpose. Drake said he was the dog and he was for all the dogs. Kendrick said, well, then every dog has their day. So that's an idiom that will now come your way and be your reality. Going to be your reality. The issue that I'm correlating this to is Diddy. No Diddy. He calls Drake a fan, a freaky ass ninja, essentially. He's alluding to him being the 6ix9ine god. He's really trying to get this SA allegations to stick in so many different ways and the PDFL file allegations to stick. The issue is you can escape that for a long time if that's not your truth. But if it is your truth, the thing about the truth is it always catches up to you. We're watching it happen with Diddy right now. So Diddy got away with red rum for years, spiritually, emotionally, and maybe literally speaking. But he didn't get away for it forever. And what Kendrick rapped, "Every dog has your day, now living your purpose," is prophetic. I heard guys saying Kendrick feels prophetic here. Kendrick talked about Drake having a mole in his camp, and clearly he did. But there is a prophetic energy that comes along with Kendrick, meaning there are people that are prolific artists. Like he says, "I am Raphael, I will heal and give you art." The reason that Kendrick has won Pulitzers, the reason that Kendrick is award-winning, lauded, and renowned in the way that he's treated is because he's brilliant. Both things can be true. Did whatever allegations Drake say against him, are those probably true? Maybe, who knows? Allegedly, I don't know. We'll see. But the thing about it is that it doesn't stop him from being an incredible orator, okay? He's one of the greats. Martin Luther King was great too. Drake literally rapped about that. People think you're some Martin Luther King, alluding to the fact that Martin Luther King, in Drake's way, he was saying Martin Luther King was such a great activist, but he was cheating on his wife and he liked white bitches, essentially, okay? Which the FBI proved, and that was it. But did that detract away from what Martin gave? Was he trife in his real life? Is there a dualistic nature in all of us? Would Drizzy, BBL Drake, would Drake be the one to expose that as a Scorpio? Yes, because Scorpio energy understands our lower vibration and our underbelly. They're here for that. You know, some of the best sex of your life could be with a Scorpio person if they're connected in a higher vibration. And some of the most addicting and also obsessive, crazy ass relationships can happen with a Scorpio when they're in a lower vibration. Does that make sense? So the reason for that is because they understand our depravity. Just instinctively. It's not a judgment on them. It's part of their natural zodiac and astrological makeup. They are here to teach us about the lowest of the low. How low can you go in the best way? Because it's delicious. Because all of us enjoy it to a certain degree. But it gets crazy when the fetishes and the freak flags start flying in a certain kind of way that are outside of our societal norms. And then we have to jump in and we have something to say. The reason that Drake pointed out Kendrick's issues with alleged DV and his real proclivity and desire for women that maybe don't look like him as much as he professes to be for the Black collective and experience is because Drake understands that dualistic nature. And of course, that might be part of Kendrick, allegedly, who knows? You know, I'm a practitioner out here. I'm a human. I have my ups and downs of my own dualistic nature. Be so careful. We just watched, I'm making a video coming up next about Princella, who just had a whole takedown herself because ego will always go before the fall. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And we all can be wild energetically. Okay? And we all crave human connection. What does that mean? The issue is what ways do you stoop to get it? Who are you? And a scorpionic energy is going to show that to you. That's their amazing gift. It's not all bad. It's great. But if they want to manipulate, listen, never more will you ever be played. And that's why whatever just happened outside of his house, pray for the person that was really shot up. Pray for whatever. But what I'm going to tell you on God, cuz on some West Coast-ish, Kendrick laid it out. And it makes it so hard to look at it and just say, is this what this is really about? Because Drake is renowned for smoke screens and making things not as they seem and flipping the narrative. He plays a great part. He makes great art. But now he is going to be tested with his metal about what's really in his heart. Who is Drake? And that was the question Kendrick asked at the end of Meet the Grams. He said, this isn't a rap battle. This is a lifelong battle with yourself, man. It was so, I could cry. It was so deep. You know, people always say that Kendrick fans are like, they think this man is like a second coming of Christ. If you've ever had an existential crisis, the words that he spoke when he suggested ayahuasca to him, get some ayahuasca, stripped the bottom. When he called him Mama Aya, I said, oh shit. I have goosebumps literally on the left side of my brain. He was trying to nurture that man. He was like, there's something detrimentally wrong with you. You might want to literally go have a shaman pray over you for a few hours, weeks, and days. You might want to see the Jaguar come in your face. You might want to talk to Mama Aya about why you are this insidious. Shit. It's like nothing we've ever seen, and it's nothing you will ever see again. Kendrick never lied. He is a celestial body that comes around on circadian rhythms of the stars. Oh my God. In our lifetime, this will not be repeated. It's historic what happened. I'm not exaggerating. I have goosebumps, y'all. It was such a brilliant thing to see two of the best at their game going back and forth, doing the best they can. But here's the thing you have to know: when you've been outpaced, fam, you've been outwitted, fam. Drake could not compete with Kendrick, and now that's why it stopped being fun, because we're like, oh shit, Kendrick, stop. It's like when you watch a fight and someone's getting beat so bad and they're like, okay, they're already down, stop, get up, Drake, get up. And that's also something that Drake could use in his favor to sway public opinion, is the fact that Kendrick is bullying him. But the thing about it is, Drake's hands are not clean, fam. Behind the scenes, fam. Drake's been mean, fam. Drake's been taking shots at everybody in between, fam. He never relents. The reason everybody came against him like a Voltron, it was like watching the Transformers. It was like, Voltron, activate. The reason that happened is because Drake has been doing weird ass, toxic, manipulative, scorpionic, lower vibrational shit for mad long, okay? And to everybody in the industry has a little Drake tribe, including the person who put him on. Lil Wayne is a person who found and signed Drake, okay? And Drake, when Lil Wayne did about a year and a day in jail, back in the day, not long ago, in the last 10 years or so, Drake slept with one of Lil Wayne's girlfriend at the time. Now, is she culpable? Is she an adult? He didn't. It was consensual. She wanted to. The point is, it was some very mafioso type stuff to do. Correlate to Diddy, who's blowing up cars like we see in the movies. You guys get it? Same. Scorpionic energy, lower vibrational, depraved. They have no rules. They make up the rules as they go, and they never tell you what they are because they never want you to know, and they'll change it because they like putting on a show. Take that. Thought I told you that, we won't stop. I thought I told you that, we won't stop. Drake and Diddy. That's what Kendrick was correlating. But energetically, I'm not just trying to Kendrick you. I'm telling you, look at the way these two move. Same. Put a 20 on a 10, do a 10, break it down, do a 10 again. He rapped about putting a hit out on this kid. The reason he did this is because the kid did not want to be siphoned from, and he fought back energetically, and then they were in a beef. But who was more powerful? It wasn't XXX, obviously. Now we see. Allegedly. Y'all. Fucking allegedly. Drake is far more maniacal, sinister, and low vibrational than you realize. I like him, y'all, because we dancing, okay? But when you have to think about it, and if you understand the astrological nature of a person, and you see the similarities, he's a better version of Diddy. Or is he? Time will tell. But with this Aquarius energy that Kendrick rapped about when he said, Cat Williams set it off. So let me tell you what's going on. The embassy's about to get raided. Keep your family away, fam. Cat Williams said in this year, another prophet, another Virgoian prophet. Cat Williams said, the prophets look different today, don't they? They got big chains, a lot of bling. The shaman and prophet world is shaken up, but they still are singing the songs they need to sing. You know, a lot of shamans sang, a lot of prophets spoke. But this is what you need to understand. Cat Williams is no joke. And he said in this year, it's almost like he sent out a decree, understanding the astrological Aquarian energy. He was like, I do decree it through the land that no lie shall stand. It's like, this is like Greek tragedy shit. It's so powerful. It's happening right in your face. These people that have signed up for the celebrity game and for the celebrity moment and experience are literally the gladiators in their own way. And Cat Williams came out and he seemed like he was the court jester, a funny little man who is so charismatic with so much to say. And he said, I decree in 2024 that all liars shall fall, and all people that are perverts and defilers shall be called out. And the God said, whatever came out of his mouth, they stamped it with a wax seal and they said, we approve. And you've seen nothing but bloodshed. The most beefs that have happened this year, Chris Brown fighting Quavo, everybody coming out, everybody with their truths, exposure, exposure, exposure. It's not just because Kat said it, it's because we're in the astrological energy of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, where it's about the truth. You know, one of my favorite YouTuber, shout out to Erica De Niro, says something that was really brilliant. She said something about our opera. She has a couple of things that are really brilliant. She talks about the Yelp reviews. So stop dating people if you didn't read the Yelp reviews. That's her. So if you ever hear somebody say that, that's Erica De Niro Kelly. But the other thing she says that I think is fantastic is our operating systems are being updated. Got to give her credit for that. And that's what happens in the age of Aquarius. The reason that people are more ready to expose, she said, is because we are operating out of that age of Aquarius where we are not waiting anymore for validation for 20 years to speak your secret, sad truth of how someone did something terrible to you, or they manipulated you, or they lied to you, or they gaslit you. Everyone's saying it right away. We just watched it with Princella too, and her girl. I'm going to do a breakdown about that. Everyone's saying their truth right away, and it's because Aquarius energy will not, it's all about receipts. So if you are who you say you are, then prove it B, then prove it G, then prove it to me. And prove it by your actions, not just your words, because we don't just believe what you say. We believe not just what we heard. We believe what's on, not just wax, but what's in the world, meaning what have you done? And the track record is a new thing that can't get spun, because we will see the truth. And if you are not right, then run. That's the energy and the magic of the Aquarian age. You will cast yourself out. You will have to exile yourself from this community at large, from our internet, from our world, from the international community. If you are the truth that has been wrapped in any of these bars, if there is truth to what has been wrapped in any of these bars, then you will have to exile yourself, my love, from the community at large. It will be exposed. I've had situations in my life where I could tell that I had to carry myself so well, because if I didn't, that would be told later about what I did or didn't do in moments. Integrity is the thing you do when no one is looking. What Kendrick accused Drake of, that the world can see because it's been admitted about and talked about in interviews, like with Weezy F Baby, whose girl he was shady with. And then he came to the jail while Weezy's in jail and told him that. That takes a special kind of lower vibrational piece of shit. Like, this man's behind bars. He can't do anything. And he's like, yo, I fucked your girl, fam. Are you cheesing, fam? Yo, Drake's diabolical, man. That's some scorpionic shit if ever there was. What you gonna do about it? I fucked your girl. I feel bad, but you should know that she's like, don't keep her. Oh, this man has done so many things like this. And it's okay. You can be a piece of shit. But the problem with Drake that Kendrick exposed is that he acts, actor, that he is not that. He acts like he is not. He throws rocks and hides his hand. Kendrick rapped about it all. Kendrick said, if I catch a flight, it's going to be direct, which he did. He named names. He said what he said, which is a complete opposite in the antithesis. That's a Gemini's strong suit. We will name a name and say what we say and dare you to say it was any other way, because we're only telling the truth. That's what makes it so entertaining. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Kendrick had us in the gladiator pit and he asked us that question. He asked us it. Are you not entertained? Look at Drake. Look at your king. Look at him. And then see that the emperor has no clothes. He struck a chord, and it was A minor. If you know, you know. Anyway, tune back in, guys. I have so much more to say about this. Whose side, what happened, the knockout blows. It was brilliant. It was literally history. But if you don't care anything about rap beef, then understand astrology. If you are going to battle with a Scorpio, you might have to bury them, but they're still going to grow a new tree. Drake will recover. That's what you need to know. But not ever fully. Sometimes trees do recover, but they never grow back to their full capacity. He has been dealt a very, quote unquote, fatal blow, a lethal blow by Kendrick's words. He'll never get this to unstick. And if he wanted an enemy, now he has it. But the thing about a Gemini is they don't give a shit. Kendrick literally will laugh, play, sing, write, and probably win some more Grammys for this fight. You can't fight a Gemini because their dualistic nature means that bye, bye, bye. They literally just will check out on you. Zoom, got a blast, fam. He's off to the next thing. While Drake will be simmering and stooping because that's scorpionic energy to just forever, ever, ever be bitter about this and hopefully not make himself sick off of it or get people killed off of it, allegedly. You know, we can't say that word on YouTube. I really pray it doesn't go that way, but I put nothing beneath him because of the way that he has acted, shown himself to be, and because of that lower vibrational scorpionic energy. So good sharing energy with you guys. Come back and join me next time and we'll continue to evolve together.